Have you ever seen a Marine lieutenant shut down a Navy commander in front of a whole room? This happened to me back in the late 90s when I worked IT support at a big law firm. One of our main jobs was setting up war rooms, basically giant computer labs where teams of contract attorneys would review mountains of scanned documents during discovery. We'd set up 20, 30, sometimes 60 computers at a time, all connected with rows of netgear hubs, not switches, hubs, back when those were the workhorses. Now, my supervisor at the time was a former Marine lieutenant. He'd served in Vietnam, confirmed kills, the whole 9 yards. He was the kind of guy nobody in the firm dared to cross. Nobody, except me. I was the only one who wasn't terrified of him, and maybe that's why he tolerated me. That detail will matter later. One day, we get an emergency call from a partner. And when I say partner, I mean the kind of guy who thought the sun rose and set because he said so. Half of a massive war room, worth thousands of billable dollars per hour, was down. Computers dead, attorneys twiddling their thumbs. The partner was furious, practically shaking with rage over the phone. So the lieutenant and I head down there. First thing we notice, some of our hubs were on the floor instead of up on the tables where we left them. Second thing, a few of them were powered off, right next to fresh vacuum cleaner tracks. We didn't need Sherlock Holmes for that one. The cleaning crew had rolled in at night, vacuumed across the power buttons, and killed half the network. Easy fix. We put the hubs back up on the tables, powered them back on, and the LT went to update the partner. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Because once the attorneys started logging back in, half the room was still down. That's when the partner stormed back in, dragging a cloud of fury behind him. He rounded on the LT like he was dressing down a recruit. "I thought you said this was fixed," he barked, dripping condescension. Now, here's the twist. This partner wasn't just any lawyer. He'd graduated from Annapolis, left the Navy as a commander, and he carried himself like his poop didn't stink. He was younger than the LT, smug, and not used to being questioned. To him, a tech support guy, even one with Marine blood in his veins, was beneath him. The LT didn't flinch. He climbed up on another table, started tracing cables. That's when he found it. Some genius had run a cable from the wall into port 1 of the hub, then looped another cable from port 8 right back into the wall. For the non-tech folks, that's like tying your shoelaces together and then trying to sprint. The whole chain choked. It wasn't the cleaners. It wasn't the hubs. It was deliberate, bone-headed meddling. The LT called me over, pointed it out, told me to call the network admins after I fixed it. Then he turned around, real slow, and pointed his finger right at the Navy commander. His voice dropped into that gravelly Marine growl. "Come with me." And here's the part that made the entire room of smug, Ivy League credentialed contract attorneys freeze. The partner followed him. No argument, no snide comment, just followed him into the hallway like a scolded puppy. You could feel the air shift. Some attorneys looked confused, some amused, most just smirked at me like the lowly IT guy still hadn't solved the problem. But a couple of them, they realized the fan was about to get painted brown. I reset the cabling, called the admins to reboot the switch, and waited. A few minutes later, the LT and the partner marched back in. Both looked pissed, but only one of them was seething with controlled fury. The LT addressed the room. "Mr. Our partner tells me that if there are ever any issues with your equipment, you're to call one of the supervising associates." He jabbed a finger toward a whiteboard with names and extensions listed. It's obvious equipment was moved, and when problems developed, after the vacuum cleaners hit the power buttons, someone in this room tried to fix it themselves. Dead silence. The partner's voice cut in, cold and sharp. "Last chance. Who messed with the cabling?" Nothing. Not a whisper. The silence stretched until it was unbearable. Then the partner picked up the phone, dialed an associate, and said flatly, "Call the temp agency. Get 40 new attorneys in here. These guys are all fired." That broke the dam. The 3 knuckleheads who'd actually messed with the cables spoke up, saving everyone else's jobs. But the damage was done. From that day forward, the entire room worked under punishment. No music, no headsets. And unlike every other war room, they stopped getting catered Friday lunches. For the rest of that project, it was silent misery. And me, I learned something important. In big law, arrogance runs rampant. But even the cockiest Navy commander doesn't stand a chance when a Marine lieutenant decides it's time to shut him the F up.